Well, hello, welcome back.
Hello.
I'm going to jump right in here. So, all right, this week we're up to week 10. So, just want to alert that to a lot of you. Week 10, we're past the halfway point and we're on our way out. Uh, it's week 10 out of 16. So, kind of like 6 weeks left in the semester. That's it. So kind of keep that in mind a little bit as we start rolling forward. Get stuff done now over later. For those of you who need to know that, one thing that I've noticed for students is a little bit of a lack on the not besides some other things the textbook, which I hear everybody's like, oh, I can't find the textbook. I believe you're all very smart internet people that if you Google the name of the book, sometimes with the word PDF after it, it's amazing what you can find. If you know what I'm saying. Well, if I happen to maybe click on this one, a PDF, a downloadable PDF opens. Wait, of the book? For what? No cost to me? And it's got indexing on it. There's no reason that anybody should ever have to say, like, you should be smart, resourceful. I just say that. Be resourceful in what you do, I guess is the best way I can say it. Look around. If you can't find, I feel like it's the same thing in life. If you're like stuck and you're like, oh, you know what? I'm going to look on the internet and see if I can find it. I really want to watch that movie. I'm going to find a free version of that movie somewhere. Like we all do it. Just do it for the smarter things. So that's the one thing, because time's a ticking. We're over halfway, is what I said. Over half. And then the semester ends. It ends. It ends. There's no like, oh, I'll get it in afterwards. No, I clock out. I start working on the next semester. Like I'm done with this semester. I move on. I don't wait for stragglers. The college closes up. Winter starts. For those people doing winter, boom, right on to the next thing. So there's no delaying. So get caught up if you're not caught up, please and thank you. So, all right. Oh, which is oddly. Then it seems like I was emphasizing a lot. Well, that takes us to today's topic in the principles of design. Emphasis and focal point. Such a big thing when dealing with graphic design. It has to do, and we'll cover off on hierarchy. I'm going to say hierarchy a lot in this presentation, but the emphasis is drawing the eye. It is talking about, like, what do we want the viewer to see? What is important? Why is there hierarchy in the piece? You are in control of what everybody sees when they look at your graphic design piece. You need to instruct people subliminally on what they should look at. What is more important than other things within the overall design? And that's emphasis and or focal point. We want the viewer to look where I tell them to look without me specifically telling them that. There's so much power within the design that we get to do that. So we want to emphasize it. We want to tell people, this is what's important in the piece. Ignore everything else. Everything else is jibber jabber. This is the most important thing. And the way we do that is we can do it using, color, contrast, size, shape, position, all of those things. And then, like, elements with greater emphasis stand out and capture the viewer's focus. That's what we're talking about, like that emphasis. And it's the elements. These elements are the parts that, like, we're going to look at and be like, yes, that's what I want you to look at. This element in the design, which is then going to force your eye over here, which is going to make you read this thing. That is the most important thing for you to read in the assignment. For focal point geometric shapes, Precise and regular shapes like circles are a focal point. They bring us in. Think of a target, target. Why is a target concentric circles going to the middle? What do we need to look at? The middle. Like, it's telling us where to look on that. And we can use that to our advantage when designing. Does it always have to be a circle? No. But there's so many ways to get people to look in a certain area. Well-defined focal point helps organize a visual hierarchy of a composition, making it easier for the viewer to navigate and understand the message. That's a lot of this. Like, when we talk about hierarchy, this is the most important, this is second important, this is third important. Not everything within our visual communication to the consumer, it's not all the same. It's not like we don't just, when we talk, we just don't talk like this all the time, or at least not most of us, where we talk in a monotone voice in which we don't emphasize any words. We talk and we emphasize the words that are more important than others. We raise our voice, we lower our voice, we do it in natural conversation. And now you're doing it in a visual conversation with the consumer, and that's how that works. Some ways, other ways to help in working with contrast, or working with the focal point and emphasis, is using contrast. Big contrast. We see that black versus white. If this was just all muted gray, it doesn't read as well. It's like this right here. Which one of these three do we see? Oh, the bright one. It's more contrasting than these darker ones. I did that because I want you to focus on this one. It's a trick. I just didn't have them all lined up. Like on this one, where I want you to read all of them. They're all of the same importance. What's most important? Up here. Big, contrasting, everything. Down here, less important, but all of these on this opening page are of the same importance. We go to the next page. What are you looking at here? This is what this particular PDF is about, and then we go into it. So that's how I used emphasis and focal point to tell you and guide you in what to see. Isolation, placing an element in isolation. Right there. I did it. And you get to the point where these just kind of happen, or you think like, I want the person to view this. Placement. The strategic placement of elements can guide the viewer's eye. I'm going to talk about that over here. Like, we're going to get into that. I'm going to get into it more. Color and intensity. I just talked about that. Like here, boom, boom, boom. Here on this front page, most important. I did the same thing on the elements of design. It was reversed. White background, bold black text. Still had the red. And then what I did is I think I kept them all the same, but I circled them. Or I might only do that in I think I circled them. But yeah, because I wanted the focal point to be on what we're talking about. When you see this page, you read this text and you're always reminded about what it is about down here. Size and scale. Of course, the bigger, the better. When you want to attract the eye, bigger and better. And then pattern, well, it's repetition and pattern breaks, which is really cool. So if you have a pattern and you break the pattern within a design structure, the eye will naturally go to the break in the pattern. We'll see that as like, oh, that's different. I'm going to what's different. Why is it different? And then like that can signify something bigger. Oh, that's why it's different. I was supposed to look at it because it leads me to figure out something else. The other thing this does, and it's really good, is it prevents the design from appearing cluttered or confusing when we use emphasis and focal point. Again, it's the monotone voice. Talking to somebody in a monotone voice has them not understand fully what you're grasping. But again, here, bold type introduces and ends each of these as bold header, bold, emphasis. This is what it's about. And then it's just body copy. So these are focal points developed to help you read and know when I look at these, what's more important, what's less important, throughout the piece. Very important, hierarchy / focal point. It's hierarchy. It's hierarchy. Pattern, proportion, unity, harmony, variety. Yeah. All right. Let's look at it. Let's look at these images. I wanted to talk about this one last week. And this is like an awesome one where you have literally a bullseye of what you're supposed to look at. Right in the middle. The rider, blazer. Like they're basically circling it. Look at the blazer. Here it is. We got this picture. We put the model in the middle. We put a big orange, like it's a cool composition, and we put a big orange circle right in the middle. It's the only thing you can look at. You know the name and what you're looking at. Rider, blazer, done. Like it's crazy obvious. It works so well, and it's done very nicely as well. And then, bold, I don't want to say it's bold, but all caps. That's the second one. Who makes it? Rider. And what's this like? Points us down to here, which just adds more information in. Or if we circle around, it's like blazer. It's that fun little, breakup of the word. It looks like it, got cut off, but it continues down here. But that's what we're talking about. Like, if you took out this orange circle, that piece, it wouldn't have the impact that it does. Let's see, we got a second. I don't know if it'll work. Let's see if it does. Give me a second. It's all about experimentation. File, new, whatever, create, file, place embedded. I took a screenshot of that image, and I'm going to see if I can remove the orange circle using AI. Let's see if we can do it. Remove the orange circle. I agree. Let's see what it does. Well, it changed our girl to a guy. It did remove it, but you can see the difference. This is good enough for what we have. But here, without the orange circle, there's no, it looks like they're trying to make it look like he's holding something. This is hilarious. But you can see the difference. Like there's no focal point here. There's a focal point there. That is hilarious. All right. So that's what I'm talking about. Like, that's why they did that. It does make a difference. This one, really awesome. Like, this is just, these are basically arrows, Oh, I can't do it when it's over. All these are arrows just pointing in. All the surrounding is all around foot. This guy right there, you couldn't make it more obvious about what or who this is all about. It's just like this circle. They're not all going to be circles, but this is just a plain flat circle with some transparency. Here's a hand-drawn one that, really lots of fun, and, still a stationary figure in the middle. We know what we're looking at, right? Really great job in like this focal point. Obvious, super obvious. Of course, with these lessons, I want to make it obvious to you students, like, what do they mean by this emphasis and focal point? This is it. Like, this is pointing at him in the middle. All this information is about it in the word of foot. And we can be simpler too. What do we mean? This is just like my presentation. There's just a couple parts here. That stands out, but this stands out. The very first thing, you go to this website, the first page, boom. What do they want you to know? This is number 1. This is number 2. Build something. Digital strategy, design, and engineering and marketing for high growth organization. Build something. Great. Who is this? Oh, they're up here. This is who it is. Click. But again, their message is master right there. We generally know who we're accessing when we do go to a website, but if you popped up on that inspiring big message and a dark background, there we are. So it can be simple. It does not need to be that obvious as of a circle or a circle. Here it is. It's just nice. Boom. This is what we got. We're stuck with it. Not stuck with it, but. All right. This is a great one. Again, it's because it's such a mix, It's a side profile. It's the lips. They create the heart. Aw. Perfect. So we have a symbol right in the middle. It's an unusual symbol, so it attracts our attention. Instead of just having a blank page, a big blank page with a heart across it, they did this beautiful side shot with the lips and lipstick, and then we read across. And again, just like this piece, we have the focal point, and then the secondary, and then there's the third, tertiary. So first one, we know, we get the idea what this is about. Oh, it's this, and then we go to this. We read about it, find out more information. The smaller, the less important. But it's a hierarchy of the information. They want to grab us. Remember, I talked about emotion. Grabbing people with emotion, they're going to remember it because of the emotion. And so they'll remember this. Oh, what is that about? It's kind of sultry. Oh, okay, I'm going to read further. Oh, okay, so this place is putting on this. And it's going to be at this day and time, and it's produced and done stuff like that. So it is all there for us to see. And it's done purposely, Final one. 127 hours. I don't know if anybody's seen this movie. I didn't know why it was so great, but here we got. And there's so many things going on here. 1, X marks the spot. What are we supposed to be looking at? Oh, if you know the story, that's the main character isn't Franco. The main character is that boulder. So that's the first one. Then we have dark to light. Dark to light. Again, pointing us to the middle, which again, little guy and the 2 main characters right there. The second one, the third thing to look at. It's an hourglass. Time's a ticking away before you got to cut off his arm. So that's an hourglass. So like there's again this emphasis. Not only is it like showing us where to go, it's also signifying other things in life that we recognize. And it may only be subliminally, but we're like, why is that? Oh, it's so much about time. Why do I feel like that? Well, because they snuck in an hourglass in there as well. I see every second counts. And they did that this visual way. So this poster is all just about this area right here. It's like, even the text is kind of small, you know, but they did. How do they do the text? Great contrast here. So this, you know, dark is the same dark as it is like from here or here. And then this isn't as contrasty, so that's secondary. But that brightest and most contrast is right there with so many other parts leading us to this one part that in the end talks about, you know, is the entire movie, basically, if you've seen it. I've seen it once, many, many years ago. So there's our emphasis and focal point. Now you know what to do. Find your examples from out there on the internet, and we need a book and an album cover and a movie poster. Don't use this movie poster. I already used it. Can't copy mine. I don't know why people would. It always just makes me think you didn't watch the lecture if you do that. Then your assignment, the project. It's a little bit more difficult. These are getting harder as we go. 2 different frames of mind for this project. We have upper portion and a lower portion. The upper portion, I want you to use typography in an interesting way to help like emphasize the word. Okay? Hierarchy is the word you use in this one. Typography is the one you use in this one. Alignment is the one you use in this one. I used emphasis as I didn't want to take anybody's idea. But when we speak and we say certain words, we emphasize them in different ways. And so if I was teaching somebody maybe how to say this word emphasis correctly, I would say you start soft, you enunciate the fa, and you end with the sis. Emphasis. So what I want you to do is take hierarchy and think like, how do I say hierarchy, and list it, write it out using all your typography skills to get it to read how you say it phonetically. It's phonetics. Emphasis. Hierarchy. You're like, where's the ups and the downs? So this one, first one is hierarchy. Second one, typography. Typography? I guess it depends on how you say it, if you say it correctly or not. Typography. So again, show me how you say it using cool typography. And the final one, alignment. Alignment. How would you say it? How do you emphasize it? Do that with text here. Have some fun. Play around. This is my example here of how you can play around and have fun. So that's part 1. Boom, boom, boom. Using typography and using word and how to do that. We do that. You do that. Like, that's why you bold some words in like a sentence. You know, if we go back to here, the world of foot, like we do it when we write here. I don't say we necessarily do it with bringing up words, but here, blazer. They're kind of both emphasis, but they broke them up so you can kind of understand that. So if like it was rider, blazer, like it almost is that same style, but those are done in full words. All right. So that's what I want you to do at the top half. The second half, each box has 2 dots. I want you to draw the eye from one dot, the number 1, to the number 2 dot. See that? I want you to make something where I look here first and here second. I look here first, here second. Here first, here second. And then with this one, I'm doing it with like, the tapering of the line that makes us, you generally start big and then you follow it and you go around. So I'm having you go here first, here second. I get turn those off. Oh no, I have those on the one. But that's what anything you can do. This is just, again, sometimes I do the simplest, most obscure thing just to, hopefully it won't, be somebody's like, oh, my first idea was to make a tapering line. Well, great, but don't do it just like mine. So I want you to, again, draw the eye from here to here, from here to here, and from here to there. By any means possible, I guess. Have some fun with it. It does not need to be a line. There's a million ways that we can emphasize one area over another. Emphasize one area over another. And that's what you shall do for the project on emphasis. Thursday, I will go over the next portion of the poster project and spend some time showing you the next steps of how to develop a poster correctly. So, any comments, questions, or concerns? All right, excellent. You know how to get a hold of me? I'm around, and I'll talk to you on Thursday about developing your music festival poster. All right, thank you very much. Take care.